I was camped with Scotty Fisher, I remember Scotsman. Scotty Fisher, I'll tell you, he was the mate of the Scotty Duffy I was telling you about earlier. But, and Boiler Billy on the same fire was there was Tesh twins and Snowy Kilpatrick. Maybe, I don't know whether he's under his right name at the time or not, but I wasn't. I was under a dodgy name.
This was common, was it?
It was common. And I didn't know till afterwards that he was the same bloke that was at school. That we boiled Billy on this one fire for 6 weeks.
Good heavens.
And I didn't know till after the battle that he was the bloke that was in school with it. Goodness, couldn't have come to school together.
Were you really on your beam ends up there? Would there be any work? Could you get in?
There was no work at all. And that was the end of the line. You know, you'd go...
Nowhere else to go?
Nowhere else to go. Oh, there was no work.
What would you do? You couldn't live on the dole, could you?
Oh, yeah, you lived on the dole. You could turn that off a minute. I'll tell you, yeah, I was...
You couldn't get jobs?
No, there was no jobs.
I mean, well, see, Cairns was always a fairly poor town, wasn't it?
Oh, no, it was a fairly prosperous town.
Was it?
Oh, yes. Oh, rich town, Cairns. Oh, well, so you got the sugar around it, they got the Atherton table out the back of it.
Yeah. But you wouldn't, yes, you probably they keep their jobs and charity for their own local blokes.
Yeah.
You were really on the way, you were really sort of outside the community.
Oh, right outside.
Yeah. I believe that...
I remember one time at a public meeting we had where, a public meeting which was held in conjunction with the local people, somebody got up and said that they see blackfellas working in the yards doing gardening or something. Well, they should be given to the unemployed. McCormick got up and spoke, and attacked it very savagely that he didn't want to take a job off a black man.
Of course they were unemployed too, weren't they?
Unemployed, yeah. What do you do? Oh, yeah. Remember, there was good things about McCormick that way. He was an exceptionally courageous man. He was a good thief. And he was a non-drinker, non-smoker, and didn't drink tea, he was a very frugal...
Abstemious sort of a man, yeah.
Like, for instance, he took on the lead from Mount Isa to Tennant's Creek, and he'd take that on with a couple of pound of dates and a couple of pound of raisins.
I see. He was a tough...
exceptionally tough.
Yeah.
Oh, he was tough.
You know, what happened after the riot? I understand someone told me, were you aware that the Salvation Army was playing on with Christian soldiers at the time?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at that.
What happened? They chased you right off, did they?
Oh, they chased us out.
Would you have time to get your gear?
No, I couldn't get my gear. They chased us out back over a bridge and got into the bush. And the railway ambulance men come down and treated us. I had a khaki shirt on, and it was, it was up to here, and it was full of blood.
Really?
Oh, Christ.
What sort of injury did you get?
Oh, Christ, I got hit with everything. I got hit with everything. Oh, I got hit with the yard broom. Huey hit me with the yard broom. He flattened me with the yard broom, but two blokes were able to pick me and I staggered outside. Oh, I got hit with bricks and bottles and stones and battens and shillelaghs. Oh, you name it. What I didn't get hit with scars that I had on me.
And what, you retreated out of the showgrounds and they left you. They didn't pursue you. They didn't run you right out of the district, did they?
No.
Yeah.
No, we got they pursued us down the street, but we got over a bridge. We took a bit of a stand there, but they didn't come. They were no good without the police.
Oh,
Once the police didn't come, they didn't. Anyhow, we took refuge in the bush there that day, and some of them went back to get the gear, and they, some of the folks said, well, you better not go back. And they watched over my gear, and a little Scotchman, he was back there, and he rolled a bit of his gear and mine together. And I got a bit of gear, and then...
Hang on, 17th of July 1932, Christ, that makes it 41 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it don't take note of us, it does make a little bit of noise, it's just a little, still, pretty good directional mark. So now you'd retreated to the bloody bush, and the cops hadn't gone after you. And what happened then? Did they arrest any people on the spot? Did they take McCormick?
They arrested McCormick, arrested Hill, arrested Bennett, Snowy Paul got arrested afterwards, yeah. One bloke went back to get his gear and he got arrested. They arrested 7 altogether. But Vic Hill, he was smart. He changed his trousers he had a beam down there this side, and he put on another pair of trousers when he went back, so he got away.
I see. So they were waiting. It wasn't safe to go back, you know, for any of the leaders to go back and get their gear, was it? They pinched him. They didn't chase you, yeah.
They didn't.
I see. And they lugged him off to the jail, did they?
Oh yeah.
And what happened? You wouldn't have any bail, would you?
Oh no bail. So they decided then the best thing that I would do was to go bush.
Yeah.
So that night I camped in the bush, walked some of the way towards Gordon Weil, and camped in the bush. Scotty Fisher came with me, and got down to Gordon Weil, and I went up to the barracks at Gordon Weil, and Jim Slater cut all my hair off and cut down up my wounds, and then we went up the Mulgrave River in the bush, and I camped in the scrub for 3 weeks, no tent, nothing. And Jim Slater arranged to get a bit of tucker down, and Fisher would, he'd cook a bit of it, he'd cook a bit of meal, and I'd come out. He camped on the creek, like he camped on the Mulgrave River, and I'd come out in the morning and have a bit to eat, and then get back in the scrub again, and then I'd have my meals like that. He stayed with me for about 8 or 9 days, and then my brother came. And
where'd he been?
He didn't know I was there. This was Joe.
He wasn't in the right?
He wasn't in the right, didn't know anything about it. And he came up. No, he didn't know anything about it. And he stayed with me for the rest of the 3 weeks. But when he come to Cairns, when he went to get the dole, he had a bit of skin knocked off him. And when he went to get the dole, the police looked him over. And they said, come in here. And they took him in. And they sat him down. And he was surrounded by 5 or 6 policemen. And they said, where were you on Sunday? He said, down the line. They said, where'd you get those scars on you? He said, down the line. A policeman said, where did you get those scars? He said, between here and the border. He didn't give a bugger for the family in the world. He was very courageous, black guy. He had a ton of guts. He very courageous.
Did he look like you at all?
Yeah.
Oh, they thought he might be, they thought he was you?
Oh, yeah, dead ring. And he was a shade heavier.
Yeah, that's
He was heavy, he was older and a shade heavier. Oh, he was the dead spit of me. Oh, he very much liked me, yeah. They thought he was, yeah. They looked at his car and anyhow, they let him go. And once McCormick and Hill and Bennett got committed for trial, and the other blokes were sentenced, they told me to come out and get going, you know, to get... My instructions were to get over the border, but he only went as far as town.
They weren't really chasing you?
Oh, well, after... Well, they were.
You turned up in Cairns, they'd have not arrested you, would they?
Oh, Christ, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, it had it on the... It had it in the post.
Did it?
Oh, the red-headed... Oh, Brisbane papers. Oh, yes. A red-headed bloke on the fence. Struck the first blow.
Oh, I see. You struck the first blow.
Oh, no, I was head and shoulders above everybody.
I see.
I started it.
Ah.
Oh, yes. Oh, they were after me. Oh, they raided Borton House. They pulled up trains between stops, pulled the tarpaulins off. Oh, yes, they were after me. Oh, yes. That was, if they could have got me, it would have made their case much better, because when they couldn't get me, well, they put more of some of it onto Hill.
Oh, they blamed him for hitting the policeman with the hunk of wood, for instance, did they?
Oh, yeah, Quitchy did too. He hit 3 of them, and he flattened 3 of them. He had 3. He was good. He had 3 hit and flattened 3 coppers.
They didn't use guns in those days?
They pulled a gun, but never used it.
Yeah, that's
and McCarthy pulled a gun. He pulled out a gun and said, arrest that man. That was me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he didn't use any guns.
I get you.
Yeah, but Fisher. Yeah, and then of course the trial come on.
How long, and who paid for Patterson?
Oh, there was collection taken up by the you know, of course, Jack Henry, he
was on the he was on the cane fields.
Cane fields, and Jim Slater at Gordon Vale Mill. He too, you know, and out at Tricholana mines where McCormick had worked previously, they took up a collection, and you know, wherever they. But after the fight took place, although there wasn't much sympathy or support there prior, but there was a lot of sympathy after it.
Well then.
And the thing about the Parramatta part, even although there was blunders, sectarian errors made, nevertheless had a tremendous effect. Unemployed organisations and unemployed resisted overnight. They stood on their feet. Unemployed organisations grew overnight, sprung up everywhere. And that was...
How did you get, I mean, after all, you must have known you were going to get done, didn't you?
Oh yes, when you...
How do you get people in that situation to stand up? Because the more common thing is to say, oh Christ, they're going to do us, you know, what's the point? What sort of made you, did people just sort of, was it a sort of a question of human dignity? I mean, what
Oh yeah, dignity would be, we've got to have a go.
Yeah.
You know, it was, we've got to have a go, like, well, we've stood pat so long, well, we've got to have a go.
Yeah.
Mm.
Were you able to feed yourself? I mean, were you hungry, or did you get enough to eat off the dole?
No, I wouldn't say we were. Oh no, there were times we were hungry. Oh yeah, towards Dale Day you'd be hungry.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yes, we're hungry. You'd have enough to eat.
Queensland's a slightly kinder place to be hungry, to be unemployed in than the south, because it's warmer, isn't it? But then of course it was winter, wasn't it?
Mm. Yeah, winter was quite cold in Cairns.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, so you got well, how did Patterson come into it?
He defended. He came up to Herb to defend him.
Who got him? Or I mean, was it the automatic thing you sent for Patterson? For
Things? That was the automatic. Yeah, because Fred had been active in the unemployed movement in Brisbane, where he defended himself and defended others.
Yeah. Well, he was also, I believe, defended Italians. He was very popular with the Italian community over conducting this case against the Italian preference and that sort of thing. They were very...
Well that came later too.
Yeah, well, later, was it?
Yeah, that was later.
Do you know?
The idea was to have it in Herbert, and they thought they might have a better chance of... they wouldn't like to have it in Townsville because of the predominantly working class area at that time, sympathetic. And, they sort of wouldn't be well to have it in Cairns, the other place is Herbert.
Cairns was a bit too conservative for it.
Yeah, well, you know, a bit too bad. See, after the battle took place, there was a lot of blokes who went around with a list collecting for the defence and got a reasonable response. You know, there was a lot of sympathy afterwards. You know.
Yeah, like, would this have been amongst the... What sort of people? Would it mostly be the workers that supported it, or would it be the middle class support?
Oh, mostly workers.
Yeah, that's right. Because Cairns was pretty badly hit, wasn't it? In the Depression, was there
I wouldn't say it was any worse hit than anywhere else. No.
Probably the same as other Queensland coastal towns.
Yeah. And they weren't bad, you know, because at least they had 6 months' work of the year.
Oh, that's right, the cane.
The cane, see?
No bloody cane for the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. So they went out, and what, you wouldn't have been at Herb, you didn't front...
Yeah, I went up, yeah.
Did you?
That was from July to the end of October.
Oh, and they were all in prison all that time?
Yeah, 3 of them were all that time.
Oh, I see. And...
I went out to see McCormick. I went out to see McCormick and Snowy Paul. And then he still had the big, they could see the big scar across his ear. And we tried to, me and a bloke named Lou Elliott, we tried to take him something out. We tried to bite some blokes for trying to get a Zac or something out to take him out a couple of apples, but we couldn't get anything.
Yes, things were tough, were they?
Tough.
Listen, was Lou Elliott in the riot too?
No.
No, I see.
No,
he wasn't unemployed, was he?
Oh, he was unemployed, yeah.
But he wasn't travelling?
Yeah, of course he was.
I thought you said he was a local unemployed.
No, local unemployed, no. But he went further south. He went, he went out west anyhow.
Yeah.
And he finished up getting on a ship and he was in Spain, 2 years in Spain.
I've interviewed Jim McNeil, who was in Spain.
Oh yeah? Well, he would know that, would he?
Yeah, I thought he lent me the book, Australians in Spain, so I'll look him up. Yeah, I see. Now, well, what happened with the trial? Tell us about the trial.
Well, the trial, Snowy Hill was tried first, and
what were the charges?
Assaulting police.
Incitement to riot and all that sort of
No.
Just resisting arrest or
Assaulting police mostly,
yeah,
and grievous bodily harm. One bloke's supposed to have lost his eye or part of his eye, and so on and so forth. But Patterson just cut him to bits. The police.
Was he able to prove the evidence wasn't true? Or
they were telling they were telling lies.
Yeah.
They were telling lies, and
what sort of lies were they telling? What were they lying about?
Oh, they were supposed to see things. One bloke saw something, and somebody saw somebody else, you know, and Fred was able to cut them bits. And incidentally, Quinn was the Crown prosecutor.
Who?
He was only Quinn.
Yeah.
He was only a little bloke like Fred, and they had several encounters, you know, with these. You'd think they were going to come to blows. But Fred proved Detective Sergeant Mayers to be an outstanding liar, outrageous liar. He said to Fred, "I'm surprised at you, Mr. Patterson." Patterson said, "I'm not." Yes, and Fred...
what was the basis of the defence? What did you defend? What was his basis? For instance, on the I suppose McCormick was up on some sort of a bomb throwing or something.
He was the last trial.
Yeah. Well, anyway, tell us about the first one first.
Yeah, the first one first. Yeah. Well, Snowy Hill was charged with assault, but it was the police that advanced. They advanced. They advanced to us.
They hadn't tried to arrest you or anything?
No.
So you weren't resisting arrest?
No, they just swung buttons. As soon as one of the locals got involved, that was the idea, want to get one of them involved in a scruffle with one of our people, then they moved in.
Oh,
and it was when they moved in is when I moved and beat him to the punch.
Okay.
Yes, so...
so the first guy, and he got off, this first guy?
Yeah, the trial lasted all day. And at the end of the day, it was a very happy day for us.
And the jury, I suppose the Herberton jury wouldn't care much what happened in Cairns. I mean, they were all miners up there, weren't they? Different class of men.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so.
Yes.
Did the judge sum up in Patterson's favour, or?
Douglas gave a fairly fair summing. I wouldn't say he summed up in Patterson's favour, but it was a reasonably fair, slightly tinted to the other way. It wasn't bad, but that was a happy day. By Christ, I'll never forget that day in Snowy Hill. So he come from Broken Hill. He was a very strong bloke, Snowy, and a very willing bloke. He was about my age. I think, he's just a little older than me, I think. Yeah, he was, about 4 or 5, a bit older. But very strong. Very, very strong. Good. Snowy, but solidly built. Solidly built, along and very courageous too.
And was the sort of similar charges to the others? Or
Baden Bennett was a similar charge.
Baden Bennett, he's dead,
yeah.
I believe. I think he's dead. I think
he's dead, he's dead, yeah. He would be a weak reed among them. But anyhow, he was tried next, and of course he got out the second day. The third day was McCormick, and that was the difficult. They did put on him throwing this supposedly bomb, which was some sort of a bomb.
Someone told me it was jelly knot or whatever it was in a condensed milk tin or something of that nature.
Well, it wasn't a condensed milk tin, but it was a tin bigger than that.
Well, then,
but it was, whether there was any jelly knot in it, I don't know.
But there was an explosion.
Yeah, well, but it never went off. But anyhow, that day they marched the high school girls and boys down to the trial to witness the trial. And it looked very bad for McCormick, from me it looked very bad for McCormick. And the foreman of the jury was a tall man by the name of Stewart. His
sons were?
His son was, yeah. Yeah. I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah, Stewart, yeah.
Yeah, Stewart. Oh, very tall man he was. I'd say that. He got up and he asked this bloke a question. They had an explosive expert, and they asked him a question. And then he asked him another question. And Stewart said, you can't answer it. You're supposed to be an expert. And the judge said, we give him a chance to answer it. Stewart said, he can't answer it.
Of course, I suppose a lot of those miners at Herberton would know a bit about explosives themselves.
Oh, they've been living all their life.
Yes.
Living there all their life.
Yeah, Jack has.
Yeah.
And so, you know, this explosive charge didn't impress the jury at all, did it?
None at all. No, not at all. No. And that was the third day, yes.
And did he get off on all charges?
All charges. Lasted 3 days, one each day.
You'd have thought they'd have got off on they'd got pinched on a resisting arrest or assault and battery, because there was a certain amount of assault and battery went on.
So he had 3 hits in front and 3 coppers.
Oh, the jury must have been a little bit sympathetic. And the defence obviously was good.
Oh, Christ. The defence was first class. Oh, Patterson in his heyday, there'd be nothing to equal him.
Very, very convinced of his own, like, full of fire and conviction.
Make a mistake, and I'll make a mistake when Fred's in there. Oh, I have a pea, I have a needle. That's enough for Fred. I ain't moving.
I suppose the local juries at a place like that wouldn't quite be used to that class of
oh, no.
defence.
No. Their sympathy would be with the unemployed.
Herberton miners were fairly, independent tin miners, often a bit radical, I understand. Sort of...
They had
battlers.
Yeah.
Battlers.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was...
And Fred got the whole 3 of them off.
He came all the way from Brisbane. He made 2 trips to Townsville. And...
it was a fair way. You could go by train.
Oh, train all the way. It was slower then. And then all the way up to Herberton. He travelled a lot. And he wouldn't have got much out of it. No.
He would have taken more or less what there was offered, like in the way of fee.
I think he got 40 quid, actually.
Spent that in expenses, wouldn't he? Tommy went up there and back and stayed at the pub.
Yeah.
And Fred Patterson never used to make an issue of a fee in a case like this, would he?
He never would?
Never make an issue of the fee. I mean, the fee wasn't...
Oh, no. Oh, Christ, no.
No. Yeah, and he said that, this was... What did he say to me about that? He said, that usually it was not worth defending the unemployed on train jumping charges and that, because there was nothing you could do.
Nothing to do.
But on these big this sort of thing, he said, I think, that he thought that, it was a bit of a foolish confrontation.
Oh, yeah. But, yes.
That's what he said. He said,
that's the general analysis afterwards. We should have changed feet and went and occupied the council chamber or the police station or something like that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, their tactics were wrong. But anyway, I'll tell you about the Snowy Kilpatrick now.
Just a minute, something else I was going to ask you about. What happened afterwards? Were those 3 guys sort of marked blokes in Queensland?
No.
It was all right?
Oh, yeah.
Did they go back on the track?
Oh, yeah.
And did you go back on the track?
Yeah.
What did you do after that?
Oh, well, I eventually got a job in the... I eventually got a job in the cane. I cut cane for
years.
Did you? Oh, yeah.
It was a bit hard to get a job in the cane, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, but in 1933 there was a bit of work about.
Wouldn't have been the left-wing old boys network handing out jobs, would it?
Oh no, oh Christ no, so I got in, and I got sacked soon after I got in too. I got sacked even though I got in, but I got in again and I'd get sacked again too. But
I believe it was very hard work.
Oh, it was hard work.
And you wouldn't have been in. How long had you been on the track?
Oh, several years.
Well, you were lucky because Jack Henry told me that you put blokes on. He said you might have a vacancy in your gang. He said, but of course if they didn't keep up, the gang sacked them themselves because they were getting there lower. The average was getting lower.
Oh yeah, well everybody got the same money.
That's right. However good you were working.
Behind, well.
Yeah. Well, he said usually you put them on and give them a chance if you had a vacancy. So they just sacked themselves by morning tea time. He said because they couldn't keep up. Was this what happened to you? You just.
Oh yes. Oh, I've had my hand. I've had to take my fingers one at a time in the morning, get them around the cane off, and that bloody sore, bloody hands were that sore, bloody bleeding, bleeding. Oh, I've had boils, bloody bleeding down.
You get boils, do you? In
the cane, in the cane. That's common. Somebody get boils. Oh yes. Oh, she's a. very, as Jack Douglas used to say, the avariciousness of the cane cutters. But anyhow, that was the greed to get a fair bob, you know.
You were working contract.
Yeah, well, cane cutting was all contract.
Well, I believe you could get 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 quid a week if you were, you know, on...
Oh, I've got that, yeah, later on, yeah, gangs had got that, yeah.
Well, not everyone, but I mean, it was possible.
Oh, yeah.
But this meant you were working very hard.
You had to work. It was no loitering once you went out there. It was on.
You were working harder than you would have been a normal job.
Oh, Christ, yes. Mm. Oh, yes. Any contract work is hard. So shearing is hard. It's made hard by the intensity.
Your competition one with another.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, yeah.
And where were you cane cutting?
Oh, I cut cane in Ingham, Innisfail.
And what were you doing in 1935? Were you cane cutting when the strike was on?
Well, listen, we better get on to that just a minute.
Right, tell me about Snowy Kirkpatrick. By the way, do you know anyway? Tell us about the Snowy Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, well, we were in the same class at Goodman Conference School. We boiled our billy in the same fire there for 6 weeks and never knew one another until after the battle was over. And so he got his wrist broken in the battle. And afterwards he got a job in Babinda Sugar Mill. And he worked in there until 1939. And he joined the army. He went overseas. He went to England. First Australian soldier in London. Cleared out. When they got to Liverpool, he cleared out. And anyhow, after England, they went to the Middle East. He saw a battle in Syria. And after Syria, he came back here and he did the Cotter Trail campaign. And then later, he did the Markham Valley Ramu campaign. And he is, I would say, the only one that ever did those two campaigns fully. Anyone.
Did he join up because he couldn't get a job?
He was working in Babinda Mill when he joined up.
Oh, he wasn't one of their Chifley's economic conscripts.
No,
he was a working man. He
had a job in Babinda Mill when he joined up.
Yeah.
But now, wait a minute. He's the only one. Maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I have inquired off a lot of soldiers, as I was a soldier myself, and in hospitals and convalescent camps and so on. As far as I know, he's the only one that fought in two campaigns in New Guinea after fighting in the Middle East, two campaigns without missing a day. And he also went to Balikpapan, where I also went, and unfortunately, he got shot a few days before the war ended by one of our own blokes.
What, by accident?
Stupidity, you could say.
Yeah, suppose it happened.
Yeah, well anyhow, there were several blokes that were in that Parramatta Park. Oh, quite a few of them that served during the war.
Well, and do you know any of them who are still living and about today? Do you know where?
Yes.
Do you know where any of them are today?
Oh, Harry Tesh is in Townsville and
Harry Tesh?
Yeah.
What, would he be, a wharfie?
No.
I thought you all ended up on the bloody wharf, all the Queensland unemployed.
Bob died a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It was a great loss to us here on the waterfront, but Bob was in the Parramatta Park. He was also a great mate of Jack Henry's and Sullivan's. And
I've met Les Sullivan.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
I've
been everywhere, man.
You went right down to that...
I went down to Separation Bay, whatever it is he lives.
Yeah, I went down there. I was there a fortnight yesterday.
Were you?
Yeah.
Nice people, aren't they?
Oh, he's a real good bloke, lad.
Yeah.
Real good bloke, but yeah.
But, I said, now, did you ever come across Jim Crawford on the track? They called him Anarchy. Bob Norman was his name.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he just died. I missed him.
Yeah, I know.
Break me heart. He was one of my very good friends in Melbourne. I believe he used to get up shows like, the Roving Reds. He had they used to put on these working class sketches and things.
Yeah.
Now, how long did you stay in the cane, as a matter of interest? Was that the end of your depression when you got into the cane? Was that the end of the depression for you? Yeah. How long did you stop in the cane?
Until 40.
And were you in the cane strike? Was the cane strike...
40 was the last season. I come down to Sydney and then I joined the army.
In the army.
Now, about the cane strike.
Yeah,
now, I'll take you off from the beginning. That's some photos there.
Oh, beautiful.
You can turn that off.
I'll do that. You and this Markovich kicked off started the groundwork for the wheels disease strike in 1934. I thought it was 35.
That was the year Jean Devaney wrote the book, but this is the year before.